Today, the readings dealt with a situation of a desert wherein Moses had led his people and fed them with manna, and they were going up the road, if you know the Holy Land, along the Red Sea area, going up into the Holy Land. And there, people were discouraged. They were tired of eating the same thing day after day, and they began to complain. They complained against God, and they complained against Moses. And so God sent a punishment to the people. He sent what they call seraph serpents, snakes. And these snakes bit the people and they died. So they go to Moses and they say to Moses, "We have sinned against you and against God." To reject the leadership of the person who God puts over his people is to reject God. We may not like the church. We may think the church is crazy, that she's not got wonderful priests, but she has the priests that God put over her. She has the bishops that God put over her. How they elected them, that's not our problem. But that they are elected and in their place, that's the will of God. And so to reject them and to complain against them and God, complain. They didn't kill them, they just complained about them. God sent them seraph serpents. So I think that we can look at this virus that's among us as a deadly virus. And by the way, it only thrives in lukewarm temperature. Very hot, if you can get your nostrils hot over 53 or 56 degrees, or cold into freezing, you can kill the virus. But it's the lukewarm, and of which God said in the Bible, the lukewarm I will vomit out of my mouth. Not spit, I will vomit out of my mouth. So he wants us hot or cold. And hot or cold Christians kill the virus. But anyway, so Moses forgives his people and he intercedes, he prays to God for them. Now, the way you get God to act is you become like God. Moses forgave his people, and by forgiving them, he became like God. Not in the sense of the power of God, but he made God jealous enough to imitate Moses. Because Moses forgave, God's not going to be outdone by generosity. God's not going to be outdone by mercy. He then forgives his people. And he tells Moses to do something, a very strange thing. First of all, strange in two senses. Strange because, first of all, the serpent in the Jewish faith and in our faith is a sign of evil and cunning and deceit and sin. But in other religions, like the Aztec religions, it's a sign of wisdom. The Aztecs and the Greeks, the symbol of medicine and healing is the serpent. But for Jews and for us, it's a sign of sin. So it's very strange that God would tell Moses, who he has forbidden to make images and to place them in the temple. He tells them, make an image. And they're supposed to, in one sense, adore this image. He tells them, put that image, a bronze serpent, that you make a seraph serpent, put it on a wooden standard and raise it up. So it looks like a cross when you have that serpent raised up. What is it but a cross? And those who look up to the cross, this serpent, this sign of evil, because God will not accept our pride. He makes us humble ourselves before him and do what he asks. That's why he's always changing salvation to things we don't think are salvific, washing in water, eating bread and wine that's been consecrated, all the things that humble us, he makes us do. And because he wants to show us that salvation doesn't come from the things you're doing, but from the one who is saving. So the serpents didn't obviously cure the people. It's the faith they had in the God who made Moses make the serpent who heals. So they looked at the serpent and were healed. Many lessons in today's treatment of God's people. First of all, about complaining. We should thank God for the covert virus because it gives us time to spend at home with our families, time to think about God, to make up for the many Sabbaths we have neglected to God when we were too busy to go to church, too busy to pray, too busy to do Lent, too busy to fast. Now we have plenty of time to pray, to fast, and to be at home, stuck, as someone said on the radio, with their family. How can you be stuck with those you love? You're not stuck. It's a privilege to be with your family if you really love them. At least that's what I would think. Anyway, so now God has given us a chance to extend Lent for 30 more days. Isn't that a wonderful thought? That we who ran from Lent have now an extended time to fast, to pray, to get to know our families again, to get to know ourselves better, to stop complaining and start asking the church and Jesus, the head of the church, to intercede for us and make us like unto God, to forgive our neighbors. If we forgive our neighbors, that's the price you pay when you say the Our Father, then God will forgive you. When you become like God, who is all forgiving, then God cannot let you win. He makes himself forgive you because he is becomes just like you as you have become just like him. That's the kind of God we have. He has never outdone with generosity. Think about it. When you hold on to your grudges and your hatreds and your envies and your pride, these are the things that God finds very repulsive. And worst of all, when you condemn your brother for finding that he is just like you, who has all these things and has done them to you, ask God's gift of forgiveness, that God in turn will become like Moses and forgive his people, uh, and who will forgive us for our sins. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your time with your family. It's privileged time, and it's so short. 30 days to spend with your family is a foretaste of heaven when you're with those you love, because that's what heaven is, a place where we are loved and love. God bless. Bye bye.